Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Kaba Ilco number 7011 TK9 10B. This is a rim cylinder that is a thumb turn, is what this is. You know, an application where you would have a thumb turn and a rim cylinder would be something obviously where there was once a key and that needs to be removed and replaced with a thumb turn would be my guess. I can't think of a new installation where you would use a thumb turn rim cylinder. Certain types of exit device trim are going to have many types of exit device trim will have rim cylinders. If for some reason you needed to remove the cylinder from that because you wanted to have literally free ingress, you could certainly do that with a thumb turn style rim cylinder. This is the 7011, and that literally means rim cylinder that is a thumb turn. The TK9 is a reference to this tailpiece that's here, and that is the 862A tailpiece, and we'll go over that a little bit later. The 10B is a reference to that finish. They're saying that this is oil-rubbed bronze. Okay, the cylinder will also include a cylinder collar for going underneath the head of the cylinder. Can look like that. It will also include the two connecting screws along with the back plate. That back plate is just meant to go through, if you were installing this through a door, you would drill the hole, 1.25 is a pretty typical size for this. Back plate goes on the opposite side. Your two connecting or breakaway style screws go through the door, and then obviously will screw or thread into the back of the rim cylinder, into those drilled and tapped holes that you see there. Okay. Now, again, where you're going to end up using this, anywhere where you've got a rim cylinder and you want to just have free access, nothing particular comes to mind. This is available in different finishes and other variants, of course, in that tailpiece style. Let's switch to the screen view where we can take a look at those options. Now, here is the product that we're looking at online. We've got our description. They call it an 1.1" rim turnknob cylinder. It's, there's really never a need, I don't believe, to measure the length of the body of a rim cylinder, although it is important to know what that dimension is when you are calculating the need potentially for a trim ring or cylinder collar. And that 1.1" is measured from the underside of the head of the cylinder. The tailpiece sits here. That 1.1" is measured from the underside of the head, really to the back of what would be the cylinder plug. So that's 1.1" there. Okay. Extra long tailpiece, 2 3/8. The 862A does indeed have an overall length of 2 3/8. Let's check out some options. Now, the link to the manufacturer's page here, we can pull that document up and then go to the brass cylinder manual. Control F, find function for 7011, and we'll find our turn knob. Okay, so they have an ADA version of the turn knob, and the ADA version would, I don't know if they have a photograph in this newer catalog. They may not. The prior catalog did a really good job with photographs. This newer version, you've got to be familiar with the Kaba Ilco line. Let's see if we can find a photograph. Okay, an ADA style of the thumb turn will indeed look like this. Okay, where our standard thumb turn just looks just like this. So 7011 turn knob rim cylinder. Now the TK9, that's a reference to the tailpiece that's coming off of there. It's a thumb turn with a number 9 tailpiece. And they don't show the number 9 tailpiece. Back in the older catalog, I believe they do. Yeah, they do. Long, the 862A is 2 3/8. Now you can order it. The only other thing you can possibly do here is order it with a 14, which would give you a lazy action style tailpiece. Oh, actually, no, you can't. That's not compatible. Forgive me, that is not available. The only other option that you can do is to order the 8 with the standard 1 3/4 length tailpiece, and unless you have a door that's unusually thick, like 3-inch, that standard tailpiece is going to be just fine. You're going to probably end up having to cut that anyway, and you'll very likely have to cut that anyway, the 9 tailpiece, if you have a standard door thickness. So the 7011 shows up in the current catalog 3 times, referencing the 80A version of it as well. Now, as we look at the way that they build the part number, 7011 TK is thumb turn. They don't list that there, but it stands for turn knob, thumb turn. Then our 9 is our tailpiece. Finish, 10B. Let's go to the next page and look at the other finishes that can be done. All of the finishes here, your brass, your bronze, your chromes, etc. The common finishes, of course, are going to be 26D, satin chrome, 28 for aluminum. You can order them in black. 46 is a very nice brown color. 10B, obviously, polished brass, satin bronze. Not all of these finishes will be in stock, but they can be ordered that way. The keying codes don't apply because this is just a turn cylinder, so there's no keying to be done. What's handy about this catalog is that it will allow you, albeit a bit esoterically, to review all of the Kaba Ilco products that are here and available. Okay, so a scroll through that book is a handy trip to find out what's available. Now back to that manufacturer's page. Not only will you see the brass cylinder manual, you're going to be able to see all of the Kaba Ilco products that we sell, a link to the manufacturer's website, and a series of encyclopedic reference documents, such as the key blank catalog. That is a 300 or 400 page document, 500 page, documenting all things key blank related from Kaba Ilco. If you're doing work in typical door hardware, you would be in section 2 of the catalog, which I think is pink. Vehicle keys are in section 1, which we're still scrolling through. So North American cylinders would be in section 2. Just for sake of letting you know where to find possibly what you might be looking for. But that document's a huge cross-reference document as well. Cross-reference between Ilco and several other manufacturers. Silka, Jet, Taylor, original equipment. Orion is here as well. So if you were to do a find function, let's say for 1533 on your keyboard, that's an Eagle padlock key. That's actually a bad example because it doesn't show up in the cross-reference because that key blank was probably discontinued 50 years ago. If we were looking for an SC1, which is a Kaba Ilco, like an easy number, you'll be able to dig into all of the different areas in the cross-reference that will come up with, options of SC1. So SC1 is an 1145. That is the Ilco number, but Cole uses SC1. Okay, so if you had a Cole key blank and it said SC1, you can eventually scroll through there and find that is a 1145 from Kaba Ilco. You can then search 1145 and find all of the instances where that shows up. 1145 would certainly mean a 5-pin blank, and there it is. There's your SC1 from Cole as a Kaba 1141. Anyway, I think you get the point. Back to the manufacturer's page, we're going to be able to review other encyclopedic documents as it relates to their key machine. Kaba Ilco. Ilco is entangled or involved with a large conglomerate of manufacturers, both domestic and European. They will be able to provide you the most basic of manual key duplicating machines all the way up to the absolute most automated for heavy industrial use, regardless of what your need is. And then prior catalogs, and speaking of prior catalogs, we've got a Ilco catalog, independent lock company from 1950, got one from 1972, and we continue to add archival catalogs as they become available to us. Let's finish up this video on camera. Okay, in conclusion, it's a very nice quality unit from Kaba Ilco because it's made of brass, a high quality architectural brass, both the plug and the housing, which will permit you very smooth operation. Years and years of very smooth operation. My opinion is that the value, what you get value-wise out of Ilco, renders them my first choice when it comes to doing a cylinder project whenever I can. It's a very standard, basic design of their cylinders that you can modify. I can extend those cylinders. You can rekey them. They work very splendidly. Great technical support that we get from the manufacturer as well. There's a particular gentleman there, and to him I say thank you, who tolerates the seemingly constant questions. You know, and in absence of understanding the Ilco manufacturing process, you need to rely on someone that you can pose those questions to, and that gentleman does a superb job. I wouldn't look any further unless you have to when it comes to mortise rim cylinders. My favorite product that Ilco has is their deadbolt. The deadbolt is their 45 series and is very early in the manufacturer's catalog that is there. Why it's my favorite is because it's a modular system in that you can have a deadbolt. It's relatively low profile that will allow you to install into it any mortise cylinder, any 1 in 5/32, 32 threads per inch, typical mortise cylinder, or is it 27? I forget. I think it's 32. The point being is you're not relegated to the 2 dozen or so keyways that Kaba Ilco offers. If you had something very unusual, something highly unusual, like a Brahma rim cylinder. Joseph Brahma was a 18th century lock inventor. The Brahma cylinder is a radial key design. Okay. You build yourself a deadbolt and use a Brahma cylinder. No one's going to go get that key copied, that's for sure. Okay, so you could literally make your deadbolt as odd of a keyway as you want. It can even get more odd. I don't think it'll get more odd than a Brahma cylinder. But Joseph Brahma is a name that will always be mentioned when it comes to the development of the lock in the last 250 years. And it goes to say, maybe you're just doing a Schlage Primus. Maybe you're doing, some sort of restricted keyway. Or maybe you've got some old cylinders that you want to reuse for whatever reason. Maybe you've got a house that was built in 1920 and you have maybe some odd or discontinued Corbin keyway that you can't get necessarily easily from the factory, but you want to add a deadbolt. Well, you can. You can order that 45 series. That's number one. Number two, I like it because they offer 3 back sets, 2 3/8, 2 3/4, and 2-inch, which is really nice. No one else that I'm aware of makes a 2-inch auxiliary style deadbolt. You can order mortise lock cases and deadbolt functions and odd back sets like that, but not as an auxiliary style, tubular style lock. And then also the fact that it's relatively low profile. As I said earlier, I like the deadbolt not sticking off the face. They have very heavy tapered collars where that cylinder sits within that collar. You can't really tamper with it. And if you are looking for a deadbolt, I would suggest that product. It is certainly grade 1, and then we can swap into it any sort of cylinder that you would like. Okay. Any questions on the Kaba Ilco? This is their part number 7011TK9 in a US 10B finish, or any other Kaba Ilco product. Please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.